What are Laduke's most expensive neighborhoods? Part 2. Please make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe to our channel. That would mean a lot. And make sure, before you check out this video, go back and check out part number 1, where we discuss some of Laduke's newer neighborhoods. Today in part 2, we're going to be talking about the mature neighborhoods of Leduc. This is like Corinthia and Caledonia and South Park and Laduke Estates and Telford and places like that. Most of Leduc is 20 to 25 years old or newer. We've seen tremendous growth over the past couple of decades, but today we're going to talk about some of the OG neighborhoods and see which ones are the most expensive. My name is Jesse with the Loda Real Estate Group at eXp Realty, and here we go. Leading off in the number 1 spot for Leduc's mature neighborhoods is Lakeside Estates. So this is over on the west side of town, and a lot of people don't realize that there's actually 2 neighborhoods over there. There's Laduke Estates and Lakeside Estates. Lakeside Estates is actually quite a small area, and it's really attached to Laduke Estates anyways, but that does take the number 1 spot. Lakeside Estates comes in with a benchmark price of $492,000. Followed up closely in spot number 2 is the one next door in Laduke Estates, although there's quite a drop off in price. That goes all the way down to $394,000. After that, there's a whole bunch of them bunched up right in the middle. So we have South Park, Caledonia, Linsford, Corinthia, Willow Park, and yes, that is it in that cluster. So those neighborhoods, they range in age a little bit, they range in location within Laduke, but coming in at the highest of that little chunk is actually South Park at just over $350,000, followed closely by Caledonia at $345,000, Linsford at $341,000, Corinthia at $337,000, and then of course Willow Park down at $321,000. And coming in last place, and this one I thought was very interesting, although I think there's a bit of an asterisk with it. So coming in at last place at $283,000 is actually Telford. Now, if you're familiar with Leduc, you know exactly where Telford neighborhood is. There's North Telford and there's South Telford on either side of the lake. Now, this does kind of make sense being the cheapest neighborhood in Leduc, although it's one of the more desirable ones moving forward here, especially since now we're seeing a lot of infill development. It is almost impossible to find a lot that a buyer can build an infill house on in the community of Telford. It's really one of the only areas in Leduc where there is infill development, and I do see that really progressing as we move forward. So, I mean, a decent lot around the lake is going to cost more than the average price of a house in that neighborhood. So I am very confident that in the semi-near future, Telford, as far as the mature neighborhoods in the city of Leduc goes, it's going to shoot up to probably the number 1 spot at some point, just because I think land value has increased so much around the lake. Now, when you kind of expand out from being right on the lake, yeah, there are some very old homes on big lots, but they're very tiny, right? So these homes are a lot of teardown homes, or they're not quite ready to be a teardown, but they probably are in the next decade kind of thing. So that's really bringing the values down. But like I said, as we move forward, I really do see Telford stepping up and probably being one of the more expensive neighborhoods in the city of Leduc when we're talking about mature neighborhoods. Now, if you've already looked at part 1, what you'll notice here is that the mature neighborhoods are all worth pretty substantially less than some of the newer neighborhoods. Now, at this point, that kind of makes sense, but neighborhoods do go through this evolution of value. If you look into the city of Edmonton and the Riverbend area, okay, so there's actually no neighborhood called Riverbend, fun fact. However, a lot of the neighborhoods in the Riverbend area in Southwest Edmonton, a lot of them are built in the 70s and 80s, even into the 60s a little bit. And, they're new, they're expensive, and then they kind of get all run down and downtrodden, and their values sort of slip a little bit. But then you see the turnover in the neighborhood. Some of the older folks are moving out, younger families moving back in, they're renovating homes. They're usually on bigger lots or in superior locations. And now we're starting to see the value sort of increase again. So we're starting to see that with some of the communities in Leduc, like Lakeside and Laduke Estates. Certainly Corinthia. Corinthia is another neighborhood where there's going to be some infill development happening here over the next decade or so. There really is a pretty big wide range, but at this point, the mature neighborhoods in Leduc are still worth, in most cases, fairly substantially less than some of the newer neighborhoods. So there you go. That just kind of gives you an idea. There's no right or wrong. You're going to like whatever you're going to like. Do you prefer a new house? Do you prefer an older house? It's really up to you and what your choice is, but I'm here to help walk you through those decisions. I'm open to chat anytime about your personal real estate needs. I hope you found this useful. Hope you found this helpful. If you got any comments, please leave them below. If you want to know how much your home is worth, make sure to message me. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Jesse with the Loader Real Estate Group at eXp Realty, and we'll see you next time.